No! God! No! God, please, no! No!
Well, that's just damn right disgusting. But I like it!
Greetings, serve this may concern. Christian Aguilar here, back with another series review, and in today's series review I'm going to be reviewing episodes 3, 4, and 5 of HBO's House of the Dragon. Now, as you probably saw in the beginning of this video, this will contain spoilers for episodes 1 and 2, and even 3 to 5, because I feel like if you haven't seen the show so far, I don't think you'd be watching this video, but if you are, thank you. But most likely you're not watching the video, right? If you're not watching the show, you're not watching the video. So that's how my thought process is. So if you are, you already know what's happening and what's up in the show. So with that out of the way, I gotta say I really am enjoying House of the Dragon so far. Again, I've said it many times before, I don't think you have to seen Game of Thrones in its entirety or even remember Game of Thrones to enjoy this show. Again, that's what a perfect spin-off does. It becomes an entity of its own. I think a lot of prequels and spin-offs tend to lose themselves in a lot of the fan service and trying to link itself back to the originals without even trying to tell its own story first. So that is why I'm liking House of the Dragon so far, man. It's cohesive, we're following one straightforward narrative, and there's not a lot of characters being introduced when we're already following a certain amount of characters, right? I think episode 5, so the previous episode, introduced a new face, and that's cool because it doesn't seem like every episode is introducing someone new and we got to get to know them. And if they do, they either wrap the character story up really quickly or they kind of have them as like a recurring character that kind of comes back and shows his face again, right? And I'm glad that this show so far has kept it contained like that. It's pretty cool, man, because I know Game of Thrones had multiple perspectives, and it all started with the Starks going to Winterfell, I believe it was, to visit the Lannisters, and they were kind of like all underneath the same roof there. So you had these multiple families and their ever distinctive characteristics and personalities. But here, like it was promoted, we're only following the one family. I know a lot of people are turned off by that, and they probably want more families to be represented from the literatures, more characters to be represented. But again, the show, way before it even aired, it said it's going to be a spin-off, a prequel series focusing on House Targaryen's reign. So it wasn't going to explore the Lannisters or the Starks or anyone else. And that is exactly what we're getting with this show. And I absolutely love it. It knows what story it wants to tell. It knows where it's going to go. And of course, that's a huge help when the book is already finished and written, right? You know what happens when the source material isn't done, but the adaptation catches up and surpasses the source material. We don't want to repeat history there, right? So I'm glad that everything is really enjoyable and it's really captivating. It really puts me into the world. This world feels real. It doesn't feel like, oh, that's a set and that's obviously made to look like a fictional world that I'm supposed to believe in. No, I actually believe these places do exist. And I think in episode 5, the recent episode, it opens up with them showing us Daemon's wife. She was always mentioned since episode 1. This is the first time we actually get to see an actress portray that character, so that was pretty cool. And just those wide tracking shots of her riding on her horse through the valley, just beautiful, man. Simply beautiful, because those are actual real locations that they filmed at, and it shows. And my goodness, it's just, it looked breathtaking. I actually wanted to see this on a big screen. I'm like, watching this on my TV is not really doing this shot justice. I want to see it on a bigger screen. You know, and that's something I can say about this entire show, is that I really like the way this show is shot. It's really beautiful, and the way a lot of the interiors are lit, it feels dim. Yet, you know, like we can still see, but it's not as much light that could be projected because everything's lit via candlelight. And I like how they give that sense off. Of course, they have studio lights cleverly positioned outside of the frame, but still it gives off the perfect kind of a glow that candles will give off, and kind of like it creates this whole atmosphere. Things feel dark, things feel dirty, not because it's set, you know, so far into the past, and it's not even set in our own world. It's a fictional world that's set so far in the past, so it's gonna feel this dirty and grimy. And I don't know, I just like that. I just like how the whole show has been given off that vibe. Every single episode, doesn't matter that time progressed, every single episode has that same feeling and has that same vibe. When I see that, when I feel that, I'm like, that's Westeros. I'm in Westeros. This is a Game of Thrones property, you know, and that's pretty cool how it found its distinctive voice, its distinctive look, and its distinctive feel. And I like how that carried over from Game of Thrones into House of the Dragon. This is so far a perfect spin-off / prequel series. I hope it just continues getting good from here on out, you know. I hope they don't lack in any departments. I hope they don't bite off more than they can chew. I hope they keep at this pace and then rev it up when it needs to, you know. And I can't wait to see bigger action sequences like we saw from Game of Thrones, like the Battle of the Bastards and stuff. So I cannot wait to see if this show will contain any of that. Again, I haven't read any of the books, so I don't know if there's any big battles or any fight sequences coming up. I'm just rolling with the show, just like many of you out there. Performances are top notch. All of the dynamics work. Like, everyone has great chemistry with each other on screen, and that's pretty rare to see. Everyone here seems like they have a strong connection with each other. Even Rhaenyra with Alicent with her father Otto and the king, who's played by Paddy Considine, Venarius, I think that's his name. It doesn't matter who's talking to who. There's such great chemistry on screen that I just can't help but feel, again, captivated in their conversations, and it's just masterful performing, man. Especially the chemistry with Matt Smith and Millie Alcock. It has people so conflicted because they have great chemistry on screen, but the events that play out in episode 4, my goodness, man, you feel dirty watching it. You feel like you can't help but just be in awe of how vicious Daemon is. You know, how this whole plan is being set up to try to overtake the throne. But then you figure out that, oh, wait, he can't complete what he needs to do. He's unable to finish. And that adds just so much depth to that character. You know, because it's easy to create a cold-blooded badass, right? And that's how they were presenting Daemon to be. But now, it's so weird, because why wasn't he able to complete? You know, why wasn't he able to finish? You know, why is it because his morals got to him? Is it because there's something deeper in him? There's like a deeper trauma in him that he just can't finish for the life of him? Because we've seen this before in episode 1. There was a sex scene with him in episode 1 where he had to stop mid activity, and he was just frustrated. He was in like a dazed and confused state where he just had to look out the window, and he's like, what the fuck? Like, he's just like, what's happening to me, you know? Or like, what? It's like, there's bigger problems out there. Let me focus on those for the moment, you know? He has no attention span, it seems, for the act of lovemaking. You know, it seems like he can't complete his task when it comes to that. And that's very interesting, and I hope they do delve into that way more with his character. Just little stuff like that adds so much depth to characters, and I cannot wait to see where these characters go moving forward, especially the characters of Alicent and Rhaenyra. I really think it's these 3 episodes 3, 4, and 5, that we really get to see them mature into their older versions. I know 2 more actresses are going to come and pick up the roles and play the older adult versions of these 2 characters, so I like how these 3 episodes are setting them up. You know, they're showing their character development throughout this passage of time. You know, they're jumping forward in time, and that was one of my worries when I knew that was coming. You know, I knew that they were going to change the actresses and that they were going to jump, you know, they were going to do a time jump. So I worried and I hoped that the time jumps didn't feel abrupt. It didn't feel like, okay, forget about that, now we're here. You know, I wanted them to feel genuine. I wanted it to make sense, and so far they do. It doesn't feel like halfway through the episode they time jump. Oh, now we're 10 years in the future. No, they dedicate an entire episode to a specific time period, and then the next episode it informs you that some time has passed now. And if you can't tell by just the conversation, you can tell by Alicent being pregnant. She already is carrying a baby, yet she's pregnant with a second. So you know time has definitely passed. So I like how the show has been pacing itself out like that. And episode 5 was the last episode we had with the young actresses. Next episode, episode 6, will be the new actresses coming in. And I'm excited. I cannot wait, because again, like I said, each episode dedicates its time to a certain time period. It's not like we're going to have the young actresses in the first half of one episode, and then in the second half of the episode, we get the older actresses, right? That's too abrupt, I feel. So to have it divided episode by episode, brilliant. And it was cool too, because it felt like episode 5, like everyone knew going into episode 5, this is the last episode with these actresses, you know, this is going to be their send off. So going into it with that knowledge, it was an easier pill to swallow that your characters that you are attached to are going to be portrayed by 2 other people entirely, you know. So this is a very ballsy move for a show to do, and I hope it goes in their favor. I hope it works in their favor. I'm pretty sure it will, because I feel like they hired the older versions, and then they went and casted the younger versions to match those older versions. So I hope that was the case. I hope everything just keeps getting better from here. If not, stays the same quality. You know, there's no need for this show to dip, but if it does, oh well. So with all that being said, what do I rate the 3 episodes? Hell, how about this? I'll rate episodes 1 through 5 as a whole, as like a first half. And this is the half of the season with just the young actresses. So 1 through 5, I have to give it a solid 4.5 out of 5 Skarsgårds. Yes, 4.5, man. It is really, really good, really solid. I hope the second half of the season does not dip in quality in any sort of way. I hope all of season 1 can feel cohesive and feel like one thing, and I hope we get a successful continuation with this show if they decide to move forward with it. So that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for reading to the end of it. Have you been watching House of the Dragon? I assume you have been if you watched this video. Whatever your thoughts and comments are on the show so far, let me know what they are down below. And as always, please like, share, and subscribe, support the channel. It's always very much appreciated. The rendered image is a show I host, my good friends Tyler and Shannon. Link to the channel will be down below in the description. We are going to be watching the new Star Wars Andor series. So be sure to go over there and check that out. We're going to be watching the first 3 episodes, or at the very least the first episode. I hope you're all safe and well out there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.